So I was making like $32 an hour in 2000 and whatever, 4 or 5, which was more money than I'd ever made in my life.
Yeah.
And enough money that I could live on for the rest of my life. And I'd still go home and I'd just be like, just down. My job now is to help agents and agencies grow. And I see so many people that just believe that that's how life is. Most people don't have a job they love. Most people just think, yeah, I get up every day and I go to work and I hate it, but that's life. You know, and they live the motto, life sucks, then you die.
Yeah.
And man, I want to help people change that.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy. I have another in-studio guest today, all the way from Springfield, Missouri. This guy's going to talk about how he's changing agents' lives by introducing one new concept at a time. Welcome to the show, Mr. Dallas Keithley, Springfield, Missouri. Welcome, Dallas.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Finally.
Dude.
I got here. I've been trying to get here forever. And I'm finally here. I feel like I have made it.
Well, when you came in the other day and you walked by the office, you're like, that's where I first met you.
Yep.
Right there. How many years ago was that?
Gosh, that's got to be, Bros and I were just talking about this 7-8 years ago. Come up here with Cody Askins. And he told me, if you drive me to Kentucky, I'll take you to a Kentucky game. And I'm a big Blue fan, so that was
basketball?
enough done. He provided value.
He provided value.
Kentucky, Vanderbilt, they went to overtime. Kentucky won in overtime.
Oh, so it was a memorable event.
It was a great game.
And it was a memorable event because it's the first time we met.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the most valuable thing to come out of it, so who would have known? Right?
Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah,
Well, it's so good to have you here.
Yeah.
Dallas, for our listeners and those that are watching on YouTube today, you've been in the business for much longer than me.
Yeah. You just did it faster.
How long have you been in the industry?
22. I started in 2001, so 22 years now.
22 years.
Actually, this month, 22
in the
years.
insurance business.
Yep.
And you came in gunslinging. You were a massive success your first year right out of the gate.
Are we being honest here?
Yes, 100% honesty is required.
Started strong a little bit. First year, had a pretty good first year, and then just fizzled and died.
What happened?
Failed. Didn't have a system. Didn't work a system.
Personal motivation, goals, system, leads, products, what?
Yes. Lack of understanding. I was a captive agent, which, I never want to create excuses because a lot of people have had the same circumstances I did, and they made it. So I can't say bad manager or bad company or bad products or bad. I just didn't. It didn't click all together for me. And really, I think it makes me appreciate it more and all that stuff. Would I go back and rewrite it? No, not at all. But for me, the most frustrating thing when I first got in the business at Mutual of Omaha was I would go home and I would tell my wife, I know how to work. I've worked in factories. I've poured concrete. I've been on roofs. I've hung siding. I've framed. I know how to work. And so I could show up first and leave last. But nobody's walking in the door asking, hey, y'all got any of that insurance, right? So it just, I didn't have a system that got me in front of enough people. And it was somewhat just lack of creativity. There was some laziness, a lot of stuff that I've worked on fixing.
So over the last 20 plus years, you've grown a beautiful family. You now have 2 beautiful daughters.
Yeah. Yep.
One's about to graduate this year, right? Coming up?
Yeah. Shelby will be graduating this year, and Celine is a sophomore. So
yeah. And then I hear you might be moving to Kentucky?
Knows? Whatever makes my wife happy, that's what we're moving to. And so
that's a good thing. That's a good thing, man.
Somewhere
that's a good
warm.
Thing. Yeah. He does have a beautiful wife. Her name's
Yeah,
Lori, and she's the sweetest person ever.
Something else, yeah.
My wife really likes her.
Yeah,
so
we've
got that going.
Kicked our coverage.
We've got that going. Yeah. So, well, listen, I want to give them a heads up about what's to come because today, fast forward all these years, you failed out. You said you failed out. Did you quit?
Failed, all that. Yeah, I quit.
Did you get back in? I
did. Actually, kind of fizzled out twice. Honestly.
You failed out twice.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I fizzled out and I got good jobs. My last job that I had before I really made it in insurance, I was working in construction. And I worked for a guy that did prevailing wage jobs, which means he only takes the jobs that pay the highest you can earn in construction. So I was making like $32 an hour in 2000 and whatever, 4 or 5, whatever. And which was more money than I'd ever made in my life.
Yeah.
And enough money that I could live on for the rest of my life. And I'd still go home and I'd just be like, just down.
Dissatisfied.
Yeah. And Lori would tell me, Dallas, what's wrong? Our bills are paid. We've got everything we need. What's wrong? But it just ate at me that 1, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. 2, I've got a cap. Like this is the top of this industry. And 2, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And, it really makes me sad as my job now is to help agents and agencies grow. And I see so many people that just believe that that's how life is. Like, most people don't have a job they love. Most people just think, I get up every day and I go to work and I hate it, but that's life. And they live the motto, life sucks, then you die.
Yeah.
And man, I want to help people change that.
That's cool. So fast forward 20 plus years, you're now a managing partner with Impact Legacy Group.
Isn't that crazy?
Can you believe that?
That's nuts, man.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And you're the VP of Agency Development.
Agency, I help agents and agencies grow.
And you work with agents that are new in the business, a lot of life agents.
Yeah.
And you're helping them understand how to create additional income through possibly diversifying and looking at some other ways other than just the one niche that they're in. And you've been very successful at doing that.
Yeah.
And I want to preface this. Like, I literally, you guys see me. You've never seen me in a white coat.
Somebody write in and tell Roger how good he looks in a white coat.
It's not fully white, right? It's kind of like
the
off-white.
Don Johnson thing
I
going
literally
on.
went by Jimmy John's and grabbed a sandwich. No, not Jimmy John's. I went by Jersey Mike's. You ever have Jersey Mike's?
Yeah,
Jersey Mike's subs, right? The original Italian. For those of you who are Jersey Mike's fans, throw me some comments down in. Throw me some comments down there. If you're a Jersey Mike's fan, how do you like your Jersey Mike's sandwich? How do you like yours?
I'm not a big Jersey Mike's guy.
No? You got. Look,
I know. I was going to go along and lie.
Podcast
But
over.
You said we're being honest.
You like yours Mike's way. Adam says he likes Mike's way
don't know.
all day, and I'm the same. I get a little extra red vinegar, like a little extra red vinegar, a little oregano and salt, and we're good to go. Original Italian all the way. Anyway, I stopped in there, and the guy's cutting the meat, because it's always fresh at Jersey Mike's. He's going, man, I really like your outfit
Mike's
today.
Commercial.
I really like your outfit, and we are sponsored by Jersey Mike's. No, we are not. Not yet. He goes, I really like your outfit. He said, at first I thought it was a pink shirt, but now that I'm closer to it, I realized it's red and white. And I'm like, dude, I've never even thought about these things. Thank you so much.
You need to roll up the sleeves, though, for the Don Johnson effect.
Yeah. I'm on the podcast. I'm in colors that you guys have never seen me on. That's because, said all that to say this.
That was a lot.
I went to see this guy do a Medicare seminar presentation. You were literally talking to seniors turning 65. We're just a week or so away from the annual enrollment period kicking off for 2023. And you were supporting 2 agents, 3 local agents really, on their Medicare, but they're life agents adding Medicare to their portfolio. And you were up there, man, and you owned the room. Dude,
that's fun.
I was watching you, and when you came back, I was like, man, you were good up there. You enjoy talking to people.
I do.
I can see why you were dissatisfied coming home from your construction job thinking I was meant for more than this, because you had those people hanging off your every word. You were joking with them. They were laughing with you. And I'm like, man, he is really good at this. And you were educating people on how to help them with their Medicare needs. But you were doing it for life agents, teaching them how to diversify. And add additional revenue streams. Tell me about that. Why that, and why do you get so passionate about helping agents do that?
And here's what's funny. If you'd have told me 10 years ago, 1, that I would be a partial owner in a company, an insurance company, and 2, I would be talking Medicare, I'd said you're crazy. Because all I sold was final expense, guaranteed issue Mutual of Omaha policies. We had the Priority Ultra UL at Mutual, and that's all I did. And it took me forever to get into Medicare. But, when you ignore something that the license that you carry, if you carry a life and health license, if you ignore a product, you are killing the opportunity to get in front of someone. And we both know the hardest part of insurance is getting in front of someone, right?
Yeah. Hardest part of sales.
Sales is getting an audience, right?
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I could send my dogs into 10 houses with applications in their collar, and they'd come back with 3 apps. Like, I can teach anybody how to get by in sales, right? Now, that's not to discredit somebody that does a great job in it, but you get me in front of enough people, I'll be successful. And so when an agent doesn't use everything at their disposal to do everything they can to get in front of people, they're really missing an opportunity. It's like having, you and I were just talking, it's like having a full toolbox and you're banging a screw over the head with a hammer, you know, and will that screw go into the wood? Sure. But
it wasn't designed for that. It wasn't
designed that way. So we want to teach our agents to really not look at someone, you know, it's like you said earlier, if I've got a mortgage protection lead and I walk in my mind, because I do this 10 times a day, I'm thinking, okay, I've got to sell a term policy for mortgage protection. And if that's all I look at that person for, my chances of success are very low because they've got to be healthy. They've got to have the money for the term.
Got to be
the
right age.
See the need. They've got to be the right age. They've got to have the mortgage, all that stuff. So all of those things have to line up.
And you walk in and Mr. Thompson's 66 and he had a stroke 3 years ago.
Yeah, and he's on oxygen. So in your head, your first thought is, if you're that guy, is how do I get out of here?
Yeah, I can't help
So I can
him.
get to the next guy, right? I look at that. I go in and I see Mr. Thompson and I say, Mr. Thompson, there's a person that needs something that I do. And I can help Mr. Thompson. And then Mr. Thompson has a son who has a mortgage. Or Mr. Thompson has a wife that needs Medicare. It's just, they are someone that I can help. That's how I look at it. I was with an agent here recently. He was with a captive agency and doing very, very well, making 6 figures at a captive agency. And we were in a restaurant and he was trying to tell me why he should stay where he is. And I was trying to tell him, man, I think you'd kill it over here. And I looked at him and I said, okay, let me ask you this. Who can you help in this restaurant? And he said, well, they'd have to be between the ages of X and Y. They would have to make over this much money. Their health would have to be good for at least the last 3 years. And, you know, they would have to be at this certain time of year. And he goes, why? Who could you help? I said, you see that baby? I said, I could write something on that baby. And you see that lady over there that's 94, I could write something on her. And everybody in between.
And I can help every one of them.
Everybody in between. There's no one that I can't help. And so that really it really almost is the difference. This is going to almost sound harsh. Difference between a part-time agent that's kind of doing it for fun and somebody that wants to be an insurance agent and help people.
Who wants to build a long-term professional career.
Build that big career. And then you talk about the opportunity to build a team. You talk, because think about this. There's 2 ways you can diversify your business. If you're a life agent, you can learn something new, which I encourage you to do.
A new product line inside the life. Maybe IULs or something like that.
IULs, and then if you expand into Medicare or whatever. And I'm not here to push Medicare. I'm here to push people to realize and reach their full potential. Most of us get comfortable, you know, like we get very good I was very good at selling final expense. Cody Askins and I went and door knocked together.
Awesome.
It was fun, and I enjoyed that. Didn't enjoy some of the homes, but most of the time I enjoyed it. But if you get comfortable there, and that's why I'm so thankful for Cody, because we could have continued, we were making $20,000, $30,000 a month. I could have continued on that path, but then I'm the guy back at the construction site, and now I'm capped, right? And you say, well, I could sell $40,000 a month. Okay, well, then you're capped at 40. It's not about the money. It's about you are going to reach a place where there's only so many hours in a day, only so many times you can door knock, whatever. You are capped. The only way to then diversify, Cody is never going to be settled, right? He's never going to say, okay, well, I've reached it. And it's not about the money for him. It's about what can I do bigger or next or more. And so when you decide to do that, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can learn new products. Or you can diversify and meet new people. The owner of Amazon,
Bezos?
Bezos said, I never hire anybody that isn't better than me at something, right? Because he said, I've got me. So I can do everything I can do, but then it's time to go outside and find somebody to join your team that's good at something you're not good at.
So
diversify that.
Tell me about what you sat with a great couple agents in that you were working with, Next Gen Insurance, I believe. Mike and Alyssa.
Ashlyn.
Sorry, I said Alyssa. I was talking to another girl named Alyssa just right before I walked in here. I know Ashlyn. Mike and Ashlyn and they're fairly new in the business.
Right. Great life agents.
Yeah. And, but they're wanting to diversify. They're slowly stepping into a new area, and you're teaching them how to do Medicare seminars.
Yeah.
So they're life agents, and they're now adding Medicare seminars. And pretty soon the TVs are going to be flooded with, Medicare commercials and Joe Namath and all these people saying it's time to enroll in your Medicare. And everybody turning 65, especially for final expense agents, if they're turning 65, if they're over 65, if they have a special need, a special condition, they're eligible for Medicare, and someone is going to be helping them with Medicare.
Oh, 50,000 people are going to try.
Someone's going to be helping them with Medicare. And even though you're in front of them now, if you're only talking to them about your final expense product on the phone, face to face, you leave knowing, I want you to know someone else is going to be coming in behind them to serve them with Medicare.
Yeah.
And so you're actually teaching people how to do mailers in a turnkey platform.
Yep.
And dude, I know 2 nights ago, how many did you have at the seminars? Or 2 days ago?
2 days ago, we had 52. Today, we had about 25 this morning. We'll sit in front of, through these 4 seminars, we will get in front of 110, 120 people. 110,
120 people. And how many people are actually booking appointments because they want to proceed and get enrolled in a plan?
We had 52, and I've only heard of one saying no, that they don't want to have an appointment.
Only one said no.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Why? Come on, what did I do?
What's wrong? And you're just helping people enroll in plans that they're already eligible for, and they're already in the demographic. And so the lead, this lead specifically was a Medicare lead, but we have hundreds of agents and thousands of agents who listen that work final expense.
Yeah.
Is a final expense lead a Medicare potential client?
Are they breathing? I mean, here's the thing.
If they're over 65 or turn 65, they are,
or if they're on Social Security disability, or, or they know somebody. Do they have a mom and dad? Do they have a grandma and grandpa? Do they have an aunt and uncle? Anybody, right? Yeah. So here's what's crazy. And we're on a life insurance kit. Could we have can we change this to Medicare insurance? I'm just kidding. I'm a life guy, right? That's what I said. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But with Medicare, you have something that the government says it's free. 60% of the products we sell have 0 premium. It's free.
It's funny how you say sell them and then you have 0 premium.
Yeah.
That's like an oxymoron.
Yeah. And if you don't take it, you get a penalty. Like I said, I can send my dogs into 10 houses. Yeah. They're going to come back with 4 or 5 applications.
Yeah.
It's educating. And you know what? With life insurance, first of all, let's take Mike and Ashlyn. They are doing something that they're good at. The big thing, and I want everybody to hear this, don't stop doing what you're doing, right?
No, correct.
Don't have shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try. That's your baseline, right? Just add something a little bit at a time, right? And then, man, each one feeds the other. Your Medicare clients are now your final expense prospects. Your final expense prospects are your Medicare clients. Plus, here's what I tell agents all the time. Watch this. Seniors are very, very, very habitual people. They go to the same McDonald's every day.
I think we all are.
4 a.m., right?
I think humans by nature are habitual.
Exactly.
They like routine.
Right. So if you and I and 4 other men meet every morning at McDonald's at 4 a.m., I don't know why 4 a.m., but
that's early.
They can finally sleep in and they don't, right? It's 4 a.m., they're meeting for coffee, right? Now, my goal between these 6 people is to get mentioned, right? If I want referrals, which referrals are the lifeblood of the business. We didn't talk about this. We didn't pregame this, but here we go.
No.
I'm passionate about this because my goal is to get a referral, okay? If I sell them a final expense policy, what has to come up in that group for me to be mentioned?
Your service.
Yeah, or life insurance.
Value, insurance, yeah.
Right. So something has to trigger that conversation and be like, oh, yeah, man, I talked to this amazing looking bald guy yesterday and he helped me, yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
That's how I imagine the conversation goes.
That's how you imagine it.
Yeah,
I love that.
I mean, I'm assuming.
This guy who wears the best shoes.
Yeah, look at these bad boys. No.
He wears the best shoes. So let's show them. Put them up there. Let's show them up there. Look at
these Adidas.
Look at those shoes, man.
I hope Patty Askins is watching this. No, but I got ADHD, man. Bad.
It's all right.
But here we go.
I called it out of you.
So if I want to be mentioned, life insurance has to come up, right? But what if I help him with life insurance, and then we start talking and he says, I've been trying to enroll in Medicare and that stinking computer, I can't get ssa.gov to work for me. And I say, hey, let me help.
For 2 hours.
I've been home for 2.5 hours with Social Security. And I say, let me see it. I pull it up, and now I don't get paid anything to help him with ssa.gov, but I enroll him in Medicare. And then he says, well, I'm so confused. Now I got to set a second appointment. We're going to be compliant here to come back, right? I come back, and now I help him with his Medicare. And he's like, which Medicare plan or this Medicare plan, which dentist can I go to? So I get online and I help him find a dentist. And then his wife says, I need help with mine. My doctor isn't in the system anymore. Or my prescription that was supposed to be $4.72 is now $5.85. And I call her pharmacy and figure out why. And I do all this stuff. Now, how many opportunities do I have to get mentioned whenever he's sitting with those 6 people?
Oh, tons.
Because seniors talk about the weather, and they talk about their insurance and their health, right? This guy
and
came
people
over.
who passed away.
Yeah. This guy came over and talked to me yesterday.
Away all the time.
So I'm just increasing my opportunity to come up in the conversation.
Correct.
By adding more value to that person. I may only get paid for 2 of those things that I do. But I'm increasing that.
Agents are listening to this and they're saying, but man, I'm just trying to stay focused and all this other stuff. Right. It just gets confusing. And do I have to learn all this? Is there... I don't know if I can do that. I'm supposed to niche down. Like we've heard there's riches in the niches, and I'm supposed to niche down. And on the Life Insurance Academy, we talk kind of in segments. We talk mortgage protection, or we talk final expense, or we talk about tax-free retirement strategies with IULs, or we talk about debt action plans and eliminating your debt through cash value whole life. We had John Phillips on a few episodes ago that talking about how we can cut their debt in half the time and not spend another dime other than what they're doing through using cash. So we talk in these segments, but then as soon as it goes beyond that and they hear Medicare, their eyes kind of glass over and it's like, it's too complicated, so I'm not going to do it.
Well, that's what
Is it complicated?
It is. It is, and anything worth doing is. It is and it isn't. Think about this. When you started selling mortgage protection, that can be complicated because you have to learn how to work with people and get them to see the need that if I pass away, now Medicare can be complicated, but once you learn the basics of it, there's a lot of agents that will not sell anything until they know everything. Like you can't be that guy, but you also don't want to be the guy in Medicare that fakes it till you make it, right? That's where you can really get in trouble. But so you said John Phillips was in here talking about how to build wealth and using life product, eliminate your debt,
using
stuff like
cash
that.
value whole life insurance. Yeah.
If a client walks up to me, now I know everything that I know about that product I just said, right? So I would be very uncomfortable if a person walked up to me, even though I'm an insurance agent, and said, I want you to do this. Or let's take, for example, annuities, right? My life insurance license says I can sell annuities. But if somebody walks up to me and says, listen, I've got a 401k, my biggest fear is it's going to run out before I die. I need an annuity. Now, annuities pay well, right? And I can make 6, 7, 8% depending on whatever of whatever that bucket is. So I'm intrigued. Now, I'm a Medicare guy. I've got a decision to make. This is what I was saying earlier. I can learn annuities and become the master of annuities, but it's going to take away from my Medicare sales. Or I can find somebody, like I believe he was on your podcast, Mr. Pat Schmidt. That's my boy, man. I can go to him and
Pat's a rock star, by the way. He's helped so many families, so many people.
He's helped so many of our agents, man. He's killing it. But I can introduce them to Pat and then work out a deal with Pat. We've got a deal that I could send people to Pat and he'll cut me in on the commission, right? And it's an amazing deal. But I can build that relationship. So that's one of the 2 ways I can do it. That's why I help people build teams, right? I want to help you reach your full potential. And when you're there, I then want to, because let me ask you this. I help agents build teams and stuff like that. If you want to start building a team, how do you attract somebody? First of all, you want to attract yourself plus, right?
Your level and above.
Yeah. So how do I attract that person? When I started helping people build teams, I thought people would be like commission. What do you pay me? What do you pay me? What do you pay me? You know what attracts people to what I do is the fact that I'm going to see 110 people in the next 2 days. They don't care what the commission is, eventually they're going to ask, but they want to know, how do I do that? How do I do that? And that's what is attractive. So,
and that's called value.
It's value, and it's showing it's what I didn't have, not anybody's fault, but it's what I didn't have in the beginning. Someone or myself finding a way. I'm always going to put the blame on me. It was myself not finding a way to be around that person that say, okay, the quickest way to get something you want, find somebody that hasn't, and do what they do. So I'm going to find you, say, how do I want to do what you do. When you've got that, then now you can turn around and you won't even have to ask. It's the pursuit of happiness thing. What do you do? Is that your car? What do you do? I want to do it. And man, it's just, you always say, come and see. You don't even have to say, come and see.
So you help agents see the opportunity a little bit bigger. You go and serve them. You actually teach them how to do it by doing it for them and letting them shadow, and then you assist them in doing it themselves.
Yeah, it's the whole, like with the Medicare seminars, I'm going to do these tonight. I don't know if Mike and Ashlyn know it yet, but I'm going to turn to them quite a bit and say, hey, could you explain this now? They've been watching me do it 3 times now. And man, the quickest way to learn a language is immerse yourself in the culture. And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Is we're going to help
and
you.
I mean, you have talking points and.
Oh, we have the whole presentation.
Yeah. It's awesome to watch.
Yeah.
So
I give that away. If somebody wants to learn how to do it, let me know.
What's the opportunity? If a life agent is out there and they're doing, let's say, $3,000 to $4,000 a week in premium themselves, and let's say they're on an average of 100% contract, and they're making somewhere between $140,000 to $160,000 a year, and they're, let's say, in the final expense space. We'll start there because it's a similar demographic, right? And they're seeing people between 50 and 85. Probably 60% of those people, 65% of those people are going to fall in that turning 65 or plus. What is the opportunity there with them if they were to help maybe one family a week, a husband and a wife, put them into a Medicare plan, just once a week, and you just did that once a week for the year, with what on top of what you're doing?
So,
not doing the seminar thing, but just actually working with their existing.
Can I do 2 a week?
What do you mean by 2?
Can I write 2 apps a week?
Well, if it's a husband and wife, would that be 2?
Yeah. So 10 a month.
10 a month.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
120 apps a year.
Yeah.
If you were to do that in 5 years, you would have around, it would be, man, I'm going to mess my math up here, between $250,000 and $300,000 worth of residual income. Residual is where the money is in Medicare. All right. So just let's break down the numbers. If you write a brand new person turning 65 in most of the United States, you're going to make $603. Next year, you are automatically, if that person is still on the books, you're going to make half of that. Yep.
They're going to pay you a 50% renewal.
50% residual.
So unlike life, Medicare has a 50% renewal for retention and servicing.
Yep.
And a little more servicing, right, than a life?
A lot more servicing, right?
When you say what does that mean?
Here's what I tell people. When you get to between 200 to 300 clients, you need to hire an assistant. Because
if you're making an extra 200,000 to 300,000, you can.
And
you can hire an assistant.
Yeah, well, you have to. And the question people ask me all the time: should I hire an assistant? I ask them, how much are you going to pay the assistant? How many apps do you need to write to pay that assistant? Then, if X plus 1 equals Y, and that didn't make any sense at all, but you understand what I'm saying, then you do it. If that assistant will allow you the time and money and opportunity to write that much more business, you do it. But because you're going to get the call, you have to see them every October 15th, right? Because you build up that residual income. So now
you're servicing your client base.
Well, in Medicare, keeping a client is much, much less expensive than acquiring a new, or much, much more valuable than acquiring a new client, right? Because you're going to get paid for years. But with Medicare, you got to talk to them every October 15th through December 7th. You also have to answer the phone. Life agents don't like to do that, right? They get burners. Answer the phone when that client calls and asks you, my pharmacist just said I'm paying $1 more than I'm supposed to. And you have to fill that and help them.
And that's where an assistant can come in.
That's where an assistant come in and help. And So
over the course of 3, 4, 5 years, you can add an extra $250,000 to $300,000 in residual income on top of what you're making in the life business.
Yeah, I know we're running on time, but here's why I got into Medicare, right? I'm supposed to be
on the road
to the next Medicare seminar. I got into the business because Cody and I were making great money.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were doing $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month of final expense. And I can live on that. But here's the thing. If I'm making $15,000 a month and I take a 2-week vacation, I just lost $7,500, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with life insurance, is there some residual?
Yeah.
But most people don't count on
3,
it, right?
4,
It's-
5,
yeah,
6% renewals. Yeah.
So I just lost $7,500. And honestly, I stopped my leads when I left, and I come home and I turn them back on. Now it's going to take, if I'm doing direct mail, another 2 weeks before I get a lead. So really, I lost 15 grand.
If you don't manage it well.
Right.
Yeah. And most don't.
Which I didn't. Yeah. So I just lost 15 grand for taking a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sound like a infomercial guy. What if I told you, right? that you could wake up on January 1st knowing you're going to make 200 grand, whether you are sitting on a beach or working your tail off. You know, that's why I'm like, okay, I get it now.
That's why you're helping agents
That's
learn
why
how
you're
to
helping agents
cross-sell.
learn to do it and cross-sell. And man, yeah, I wish we could talk more about cross-selling. Good grief.
Yeah, yeah.
You talk about cross-selling.
Well, you know, sometimes the focus of organizations in selling and teaching and training and even our educational platform is on sales, right? We teach sales. But really, it's about servicing the needs of clients and uncovering those needs. And I think as we wrap this up, a lot of agents get running in a niche, get running in a single lane, and they put the limits on themselves as to what that lead was
We're
for.
comfortable. Yeah.
And we think that lead has to fit this product, and outside of that, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And we haven't broadened our scope enough to learn that we can be an insurance professional, not just a final expense agent. Or because a lead, whether Mr. Thompson is 66 years old and he's filled out a mortgage lead because he refinanced his house, when you got there, you realize you don't qualify for a term.
Or he thought he was getting a free iPad.
Yeah, or any limitations that he has that are ones that you put on your own self, because he is a person with a need and you are an insurance agent with a license. And that's really all you need to know. And this is an opportunity for a conversation how to best meet his needs.
Yeah.
And his needs are not just a burial plan. It's not just the mortgage. It's his health. It's his Medicare. It's his wife. It's his family. It's the people he cares about. It's the $182,000 that he has sitting in this self-directed 401k that's just sitting there. Now it's rolled over and he doesn't know what to do with it because he doesn't know who to trust. And most people that are in that space want people with 500,000 or more. So they're not even approaching these guys with 180.
Yeah.
And so nobody's talking to him.
The average American.
The average American.
Yeah.
And this person is, Mr. Thompson is a man full of needs. The limitations we're putting on himself. So Dallas, I know you got to go. You want to say more.
Let
you
me
want to say
this.
more. Look,
do you want to be a
again.
Jiffy Lube where you change the oil and make good money changing oil? Or do you want to be a mechanic that has the full shop and people are bringing everything to you?
Yeah. And then you know what? The mechanic was the full shop. Sometimes he has a tire guy. Sometimes he has
he's not
an
running around
engine
changing
guy.
tires and oil and transmission.
so he's actually got a full business running. So
a team.
the question is, what do you see yourself as? Do you want to diversify your business? Does the word diversify scare you? Do you feel like it's diluting your business? There's ways to add additional revenue to your business by seeing the person's entire need. Yep. And so Dallas, man, thank you for being here today.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. You're not passionate at all about what you do. I can't
not at
tell.
all.
You're running over, and now you've got to go slow enough to not get a ticket and still serve those families when you're there. So thank you, guys. Thanks, Dallas, for being here.
Appreciate
and thank you for watching this episode, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast.